Welcome to GateCrashers, a podcast dedicated to kicking open the door to your next favourite thing. Our mission, our code... Ooh, dear.
No, you're keeping that in. You're keeping that in.
Fine. Our mission, our creed, our code is this: to make all things more approachable and accessible to everyone. We want you to find a universe that you'll fall in love with. My name's Ethan, my pronouns are he, him, and I don't know how to read.
My name is RJ, my pronouns are he, him.
My name is John, my pronouns are he, him, and I do know how to read.
Debatable.
I'm here to make fun of Ethan. I'm Jake. My pronouns are also he, him. Ethan, what do they teach you over there in Wales? Not Welsh. I know that much.
Or English, for that matter.
Should I do this entire podcast in Welsh?
Sure. So we will have 0 listeners.
Yeah. For one of our biggest topics, nobody.
Indiana Jones in the lost dialect of no one cares about.
Wow. I'm leaving. I'm done. I'm out.
Indiana Jones in the country of it's just a rock.
Jesus. Right out of the gate.
Oh, I'm gonna. You know what? I could apologize in advance for the way this episode's gonna go, but I won't.
No apologies.
Indiana Jones in the country of the worst dragon ever.
The only country with a dragon on a flag, it makes us the best country.
I don't think that's true.
Indiana Jones and the time where the WWE came to that one rock.
Hey, Taylor Swift's coming here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Taylor Swift's going there.
Is she gonna perform on a rock, or are you gonna be sitting on your little raft just listening?
All
like this one person clapping?
All 5 of you are gonna see Taylor Swift?
Okay. John, once you've composed yourself, why did you tell us a back of a box Smurf for what we're talking about?
We're talking about Indiana Jones, and again, this is the way it's gonna go. All right, back in the box blurb. An absurdly hunky professor archaeologist outright steals sacred relics from other cultures and puts them up for display. It's kind of rude if you ask me, but at least the Nazis can't get it. Fuck those guys.
Fuck those guys indeed.
Fuck them. That is an official GateCrashers stance.
That is an official GateCrashers stance.
Signed,
fuck Nazis?
Approved. Fuck Nazis.
Yeah, fuck Nazis.
And those commie bastards.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
All right there, comrade. Take it easy.
Jake wants to get his Republic credit score up.
Hey. Co-ops are pretty nice.
So, Jake, why did you kick us into some of the history of Indiana Jones, then?
Okay. While hiding Hawaii to avoid the expected lousy press and reviews that were sure to come with the new sci-fi film Star Wars, George Lucas pitched his friend Steven Spielberg of Jaws fame his idea for an adventure film inspired by those he grew up with. Combined with Spielberg's want to make a film akin to the globe-trotting spectacle of James Bond, they soon came up with the idea of a film following the adventures of an archaeologist whose name would go down in film history. Indiana Smith.
Okay, so maybe they weren't quite at the right name just yet. But after bringing on future Empire Strikes Back writer Lawrence Kasdan to assist in cracking the story, pretty soon the trio had decided on what adventure the newly christened Indiana Jones would be going on. Said adventure would see our hero facing off against the Nazis in an attempt to stop them from harnessing the biblical power of the Ark of the Covenant. Said adventure would be called Raiders of the Lost Ark and was released in the summer of 1981.
Of course, all that's well and good, but who was Spielberg and Lucas going to get to play the man in the hat? After a brief flirtation of Tom Sellick that was prevented by scheduling, they went into it with someone who, in hindsight, really was the only choice for the role. Former carpenter and weed dealer turned actor Harrison Ford. What followed on from there is, as they say, history. Raiders of the Lost Ark was a phenomenon, becoming a massive success and leaving an indelible impact on the film industry as a whole.
After that, Spielberg, Lucas, and Ford reunited for a much darker take on Indy's adventures in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, released in 1984. This film also starred future Academy Award winner Ke Huy Quan in his film debut.
they would have rejoined again, and the pair Indy with his father, played by former James Bond Sean Connery, in 1989's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, before going on a nearly 20-year hiatus.
The trio returned with Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in 2008. And while not as beloved as the first three films, has developed a much greater reception in the years since.
Now, with a changeover, seen Spielberg stepped into a producing role, and Ford vs. Ferrari and Logan director James Mangold taking the director's chair, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is being touted as the final adventure for Harrison Ford's Man in the Hat.
Also, I put 310 to Yuma, and I just want to say that movie rules. But anyway,
I changed it to Ford vs. Ferrari because cars are cool.
310 to Yuma is pretty fantastic, though.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
So
we're
was
all
Night and
waiting
Day.
for the.
They were both. It was both
for,
Christian Bale too, so that
Yeah.
counts. Oh, yeah, we're good.
Christian Bale.
So, anybody want to tell us who may like these films?
Fans of Shia LaBeouf, like specifically Holes.
Yeah,
Dig it up.
not
dig
the
it.
latest stuff he
Dig
was
it
involved
up.
in.
Oh yeah.
No, just Holes.
Dig it up.
You don't have to like anything else,
dig
but
it.
if you like Holes,
Dig it up.
Yeah.
What about Even Stevens?
If
No.
you're fans of the stuff that hasn't been uncovered after Holes about Shia LaBeouf, then you will love Shia LaBeouf in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Oh,
God, Holes is a
God.
great movie.
Holes is a great film. I would say if you're a fan of just a man with a shirt that the buttons just keep getting loose up the top, and just there's so much just action going on with the chest hair, then these are the films for you.
And
Yes.
if you're like someone who commits thievery or grand larceny, you know what? This movie might be for you as well.
Yeah, I think that sums about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, if you hate the Nazis and want to see them get punched repeatedly, and the Russians too.
Yes, absolutely.
Hating Russians is fun at the moment.
I mean, they hate themselves.
Yeah, look at that cool.
Yeah. Oof.
I mean, that already ended. The one guy is.
Oh, I just realized we never
Develop.
put themes. Are there any themes to these movies?
Dudes rocking.
Dudes rock. This is definitely a dudes rock.
This
is a good
actually, I'm going to go even further. I think this is the progeny, or whatever you want to call it, the foundation for modern dudes rock movies.
I'll do
Yes.
you one better.
Ooh.
The theme here is films to put on, and your dad will stand in the room and watch.
Yeah.
Specifically stand.
Specifically
stand the entire time.
stand, and then stand, and then slowly move into a seating position.
Any
It's
part
Indiana
of the
Jones.
film doesn't matter.
Is Indiana Jones and A Few Good Men? That's the list.
Yes.
And if you're like my dad, any shooter specifically, but that's because he watched it when he was injured, and he watched that movie repeatedly. So shooter
I
with
will
Mark
also say,
Wahlberg.
especially the third and fourth films,
Yes.
the themes are daddy issues.
Yes.
Well, oh yeah, fourth one had daddy issues. Okay, yep, I had to think about that for a second. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, does
Good
second
old-
have daddy issues?
Not really.
No, that has other issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Good old Sammy Fableman.
Good old Sammy motherfucking Fableman.
Are we going to cover all the names that they threw out before they landed on short round for Keiho Kwan? Are we going to list
I
those?
deliberately didn't look. I deliberately did look
okay,
that list up.
Okay. We'll
Save that for
ignore
the discussion? Where can we find these movies?
So we can get these movies. They have all recently just been added to Disney Plus because Disney owns everything nowadays.
I think they're still on Paramount Plus too.
I believe they are still on Paramount, where they rightfully belong.
And in VHS form in your dad's basement.
Yes.
Right next to the video marked Dad's Special Stash.
Oh, kids go
That's
looking
a whole
around that
box.
box. Kids go into that box. You'll have an education. They also
Now-
have some fancy new 4K discs.
I was going to make a joke saying, well, Wales is still on VHSs, so.
Yeah.
When you say 4K really fast, Ethan, I thought you were leading into something else, but
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh boy, this is gonna be a fun
Okay,
episode.
so before we get too out of control, let's take a break, and then we'll jump into our discussion.
Do, 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 do.
Da, 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 da.
Do, 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 do,
on
do,
a plane
do.
now, gonna jump. Hope the kid and the woman make it on the mountain. Here we
Oh, no.
are in the
Their
life
blood
raft. I just
So
want
let's
10
kick the
minutes of whip
discussion off
cracks.
then.
I apparently have a child.
So, has anybody
Oh,
else played
God.
Lego Indiana Jones: The Original Adventures?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Back
Okay.
when they were allowed to have guns.
Yes. Where's this thread going, Jake?
You ever step on a Lego?
Yeah.
You ever felt that pain?
Yeah.
You know that one guy who got rolled over playing Indiana Jones by the boulder?
Yeah.
You mean Alfred Molina? Spider-Man 2's Alfred Molina?
No, the in the Stunt Spectacular in Disney.
Oh.
Yeah, he got rolled over.
Yeah, the boulder ran him over.
That's how I imagine that feels.
hmm
Now I want that to happen to you, Ethan.
What the fuck?
Welcome to Jake's Thoughts? Question mark.
Ethan, you shouldn't have asked where my brain was going. I just had to start making stuff up.
Yeah.
Was
That's a running problem with you, Jake.
So, okay. Where's the best place to start? I mean, I know Raiders, but I would also make an argument that yes, Raiders is a good place to start, but I would also argue Last Crusade.
Or we can do it chronologically and be real pieces of shit.
Young Indiana Jones Chronicles.
With Harrison Ford and the indigenous
the Native American
person.
in
Native
the first
American.
5 minutes of that episode and then never to be seen again. To which he then goes to the production assistant and says, I'm not coming back.
No, he actually then goes on to not kill his wife and then be chased by Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes.
I didn't do it.
I didn't kill my wife.
I think I think it's hilarious that the two greatest roles, arguably for Harrison Ford, he kind of just like fell into. Like he didn't he really wasn't up for Han Solo, and he really wasn't up for Indiana Jones.
Now, why couldn't Tom Selleck do it? Was it because of Magnum?
That door really
Magnum.
fell on him.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize Magnum was on at that point. I thought it was like mid 80s for some reason.
No,
No,
and
Magnum was just starting. I think he'd done the pilot, then Indiana Jones was happening, and then Magnum got picked up.
Well,
he couldn't commit to the shooting schedule.
And now he's still on Blue Bloods, which has been going on for fucking years.
And everyone knows the Chip and Dale thing, right?
Oh, he used to strip? Oh, you're talking the Adventures of Chip and Dale.
The Adventures
Rescue
of Chip
Rangers.
The Rescue Rangers.
Rangers. Everyone knows the thing with that, right?
Yeah,
No.
one is dressed like Magnum
One is
P.I.
Yeah, and one is dressed as Magnum
Oh,
P.I.
okay. That's why that is? Okay. Oh, you mean Andy Samberg and John Mulaney? Oh, I love those two.
Don't you dare shit on that film. That was a good
I'm
film.
not going. I love that movie. I genuinely love that movie.
All right, just
Also,
pick,
talk about.
pick
I want to
one.
go back to you saying about Harrison Ford falling into roles. He also fell into the Jack Ryan role as well.
Yes.
Because it was Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin couldn't come back.
Well, he shot that guy on set.
He's done it multiple times.
You can't keep getting away with it, I tell you.
One more time. Well, third time's the charm.
Indiana Jones and the
Missing bullet.
people. Raiders of the Lost Ark. What a
Raiders of the
film.
What?
Lost Ark.
What a
picture.
film.
You
What a
know,
incredible
I just love watching white people destroy cultural artifacts of non-white cultures to save themselves from snakes.
I enjoy that their argument is it belongs in a museum,
That's
but not
the
in the
belongs in a
museum
museum.
located in
In
the
the
actual
country that it
region.
belongs in.
No, it's the museum who pays the most.
This belongs to the highest bidder.
It belongs in my museum where I work in my college.
Can I just ask, what was the age range for you guys when you first watched Raiders of the Lost Ark?
When did they first come out on DVD?
2003 or so.
It's 2003. So I was 5.
Oh wow. I was probably maybe 6 or 7 when the first time my dad put it on. What about you, Jake?
I can't remember. I think it was right around when they were promoting Crystal Skull.
Really?
2007.
Yeah, 2007.
So you were like a later in the day interest in Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Okay. So from my peer review of that film as a kid, everything was scary and awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool.
So my actual story is I have the original DVD
I have
box
a
set.
DVD box set I have.
But this is like one of the last things I have from my grandparents because they're the one who gave me these. And so I'll never get rid of it because of that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Even got the special features bonus disc.
It's a great disc. I love that disc.
Now, Jake, as you were a little bit older, what was your take of, because I mean, we're coming into, 2007, we'll say 6.
Yeah.
The landscape of film is different.
Just a bit.
It was very different. If I remember, let me just double check something real quick. Yeah, so I had already seen the movie Teeth at this point. So nothing was scary.
Oh. That's the greatest segue I've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean, Dan had it on with his friends. I was playing Roblox.
You'd
I was
seen
watching out of the
Teeth.
corner of my eye.
The towers had fallen. Nothing sacred.
I wasn't getting phased by anything.
The war had started.
Oh, Jake, Alfred Molina's got tarantulas on him.
Yeah.
The tower fell.
I mean,
a second tower fell after.
they hit the Pentagon.
Terrible.
Oh, we go to hell.
You got that out.
No, it stays in.
It stays in.
It stays.
The kid stays in the picture. Oh my God.
I'm glad we don't have to wait 22 years anymore for things to be funny. I mean, especially because, we've been a lot of people have already been making fun of that submarine.
That's funny though. Like,
it's funny
those
to rich people.
idiots.
Well, it
Yeah.
belongs in a museum, first off.
You think you get it?
Yeah, they should exhume the Titanic from the depths and put her in a museum.
Oh, yeah. I mean, James Cameron can lead Harrison Ford down there to get it.
And then come back up with another terrifying, horrifying incident happens.
It was quickly something I was really into.
Mm-hmm. I would say that Indiana Jones was my first recognizable Halloween costume. Probably because it was easy. It like just an old beat up leather coat and your mom gets you khakis. And I was a bit of a husky boy then. So it was just like, on sale, old dad khakis that
khakis.
I pulled up.
Sounds about right.
The most expensive item was the bullwhip. Because back then, Halloween stores were not aplenty. But I thought I looked so cool in it. I still do when I look back at that picture. And he was like the first hero who really, aside from the first film, well, he shoots the guy. He was like the first recognizable hero to me that like was just average guy who also like knows a lot about stuff.
Hold on. His day job was being a nerd and teaching people nerdy things.
Yeah, and keep it in shape by plowing all of the co-eds.
That probably was his training routine.
Yeah.
I mean, wait. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm going to still the one major problematic thing I don't think holds up as well.
His relationship with Marion by any
Yep.
chance?
Yep.
I was a child.
Listen. Calculators were
Ethan.
expensive back then.
Okay, that's not an
Math was
excuse.
hard. I mean, it's pretty damning when the line is, I was a child.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Yeah.
what was she, 14 or something?
Oh my God, we did it because he was a post-grad. It was like something like he was like 24 and she was like 15, maybe 14 or 15.
It's something like a.
Oh, yeah,
You can go read the transcripts of Lucas, Spielberg, and Kasdan talking about it while they were making the film, while they were making the script.
Oh, no.
The worst part is like stuff like that back then wasn't all that uncommon.
No.
but
No.
still.
I'm just actually looking at the look on my face, just the pure disgust I feel.
I think that's the one part of that movie that does not hold up. It didn't hold up back when I was a kid. It doesn't hold up now.
It's always been bad.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that don't hold up well.
Well,
I just want everyone to know
we're
we're not defending it. This is
No,
not. This
no.
is we're not
God,
defending
no.
it at all.
Yeah,
No,
we'll get a
absolutely.
lot
One
more-
would think that.
We'll get a lot more critical in Temple of Doom.
Yes, we will. So Raiders of the Lost Ark, it throws you right into the series, and the great thing about this film, I'm going to say, is it builds this amazing character, very quickly. I mean, the scene itself, like,
Oh my God, the opening scene is literally one of the greatest opening scenes in cinematic history.
because he doesn't really turn around until like 5 or 10 minutes. You have like no idea what's going on. It's just like this dude.
No,
in
you
a
just
jungle.
follow his shadow. You see him from like the legs up. You see him from the back, and then he turns around and his face is kind of still in shadow, but you see it like kind of the light kind of reflecting
And then
on
he
him.
walks out into the light and is.
Oh, okay. I got a great note that I'm going to read after we talk about this scene.
Oh no. Oh, no.
Do you want us to discuss the boulder? It's
Well,
one of
yeah.
the okay. So it's been parodied so many times
Oh
and
my
so
God.
many different
Rugrats
things.
parodied it.
Yes,
Sesame Street parodied
the
it.
exchange for the sand and the weight and everything like that, and the boulder and everything coming down. So go ahead, Jake. I want to hear. I have to hear
Well,
this.
I mean, once he gets out after the boulder, it's immediately stolen from him. And
Well,
apparently
don't
that's-
forget, he's helped by future Marvel villain Alfred Molina,
Yeah,
yeah.
who gets
Gets
immediately
spiked in the
a
head.
bunch of spikes in the head.
So
Guy
he's
loves
running out.
Pinhead.
It gets stolen. Go ahead, Jake.
I mean, this has to be the archaeological equivalent of being caught. It happens to him constantly.
It does.
Ark of the Covenant,
Just-
everything.
you're so there. You're there. You're almost the finish line, and then just the other guy comes in.
Yep.
God damn it.
And he's like, well, and then he's like, oh, they're all after me. Start the boat.
Jock! Start the engine, Jock! Love Jock.
My question is time wise for him, because obviously like he's like, oh, your paper. Okay. So we're moving ahead a little bit. Like he's coming back, he's teaching and he's like, your papers are due Monday. How the fuck is he grading anything? Like, what is the return time on any of the stuff in that,
You know what
in
it
that
is?
course?
It's just
I think
scribbles.
there's a point of like there's an actual reference to that in one of the films where like
I think
they're
it's in
all
Last
outside-
Crusade, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're all
it's Last
outside his
Crusade.
office wanting grades.
And then he sneaks out of a fucking window.
Yeah.
So I just need to quickly point something out. I'm sorry. I think. Oh wait, no, never mind. I thought it was Frank. Frank Marshall is in the movie. I thought he played Jock. He plays someone else.
You just got to remember. So these people are at a legitimate college, and we're talking about
They did well in school. They did well in sports. Parents are paying so
Yeah.
much money.
and this
all
fucking guy ain't doing
$22
stuff.
back in 1930. All $22.
Well, no, the government paid like 70% of it back then.
Oh, you got it. Yeah,
He
that's
also-
absolutely
he
right.
The archaeology teacher doesn't even know how to spell Neolithic.
I'll do you one
There's
better.
There's a reason he studied archaeology, not English.
If again, one of the films you watch again when you're little, and if you don't catch it the first time when you're young, you're like, wow, he's got a lot of women in his class. And then you watch again, you're like, oh, he's got a lot of women in his class. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't. As long as they're not old enough to be carbon dated, they're old enough for him to date.
He takes the one thing that can't be stolen from him. That's what he does.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What the fuck? Oh.
Dun, 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 dun.
The dig site is their beds.
So after that scene, we go to maybe my favorite scene in the film, which is the discussion with the government men.
I find it hilarious that they're all sitting down and they're explaining, and the government, he's trying to explain like the Ark of the Covenant, and like he talks everything as if he knows for 100% that it's fact. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, the Ark of the Covenant, it's out there, and these government guys are like, what? Like they're the fuck you're talking about the biblical Ark of the Covenant, and he's like, yeah, it's over there. It's probably we're gonna dig a little bit. It'll be over there.
Yeah, I love old archaeology guys. Like reading their shit when I was in college, like they were all fucking positive about it.
Oh yeah,
always positive about something. Like even though, like, there's only like a few guys who actually started discovering shit and like has some evidence to prove their claims. The other guys are just like, yeah, no, I'm in an armchair.
I just remembered the other not great thing about Raiders. The casting of Salah.
You mean
Welsh icon,
BAFTA winning
Welsh BAFTA winning Welsh icon Jonathan Rhys Davies.
Yeah, I mean why hire a Welsh person? You could hire an English person who's going to act it way better.
I think that's the first problem I have, and that's something we'll discuss later.
Everyone loves Salah, the silly little guy, and then he keeps coming back, and then they realize, well, we can't recast him.
Well, I love how you call him the silly little guy, and then he does play Gimli later on in Lord of the Rings to upset that community as well. But going back to him as Salah, first off, his accent is still British, Welsh.
Yeah, it's a pretty heavy Welsh brogue, to be fair.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to confirm that because they have a lot of them over there, right, Ethan? Yeah. Okay.
Especially back then.
It's like a sister community. So we are now pulling in, and India is now searching for the Covenant, and we learn about, we've already digressed over the Karen Allen issue of age and consent. But let's talk about one of the most iconic scenes in the trilogy, when a man swinging a sword at Indy, and we see a distressed Indiana Jones, which we all now know the classic thing about it, that they were all shitting their brains out due to dysentery. And that sweat is real, folks. He is drenched. Absolutely. He probably just left the bathroom. There's still toilet paper stuffed up there just to make it through this scene. And
he's wearing adult diapers.
Yeah. And
he shoots the guy.
Yeah, he just shoots him. And I mean, we all know the scene basically was. Does anyone actually remember what happened in that? Like, who came up with that idea to shoot?
Wasn't it Harrison?
It was.
I think
Harrison
Ford himself.
Yeah, it was Ford himself.
Was
exactly.
Like, can I just shoot him?
Which
is funny because it makes it funny because the sword man has all these elaborate, like,
they train
great moves.
That's what I was gonna say.
Months.
That dude goes home the day before the shoot. They're like, "Mom, tomorrow's the day."
Do you know the other thing about that guy?
What?
That guy who is the sword guy, he is also the beefy mechanic at the plane.
Yes, he's the mechanic. You're absolutely right.
Oh, okay.
He's the stunt man.
Yeah. Pat Roach.
Yes. He was also a boxer, wasn't he, back in his day before he did stunts?
So.
I mean, just off a great turnaround for him to be like, we're not today. Yeah. I'm shooting him. That's it. And they're like, okay, yeah, go ahead, go do that. And then it like, all right, that looks great, actually. But it's crazy to think that it's one of those things in film where it's because of, insane circumstances. They're just like, they do this. And now it's arguably one of the most iconic things that you think of from the film.
All because
So
he needs to
there's-
just go back to the toilet and just continue to just...
I get it.
There
though.
is one thing I do want to mention about Raiders, which who you've seen Fablemans, John?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, you two.
Not yet. Ashley watched it. She enjoyed it, but I haven't gotten to see it yet.
So in Fablemans, which is about Steven Spielberg's childhood, it's
Mhm.
shown that his mother, when he was a teenager, bought a pet monkey. Now, if we talk about influences, do you think Steven Spielberg hated that pet monkey so much he made the monkey in this a Nazi collaborator?
Oh, that makes sense now. You know what else about that Fablemans is that Steven Spielberg hired Seth Rogen to watch as the guy who fucked his mom.
Seth Rogen fucked Steven Spielberg's mom.
Let's wind this back. Let's rewind this. Okay. Are we
Jesus,
going to discuss the influences of a little capuchin as they can be tainted to the sides of either Nazis or not Nazis?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. I just want to make sure that we are
I
okay.
accept that as 100% factual.
All right. It makes sense. Makes sense.
Bloody
Hitler had
sympathizers.
dogs, so I get it.
Exactly.
Allegiances can be bought. I will say
Bananas.
I will say, as we move further along, we have this wonderful dig scene where they are just digging shamelessly. And it is one of the first films where normally when someone is like, all right, we got to dig this hole, it's just like a cutscene. And then the hole is beautiful and digged. You see these men working for hours.
Digging.
The
They
sun
are
is
digging.
rising and setting as these guys are just digging away. And and you can see the outline of, Indiana Jones helping them at one point, and then he just disappears. So he just like fucked off, and he was like, just when you get to
Keep
something,
digging.
just shout.
He's just like, all right, guys, listen, just keep on digging the hole and then we'll be fine.
But if it's like you see gold or something, you grab me. That's you. That's not yours. You
Listen,
come
I don't
find
want to
me.
go back to being a carpenter, guys. Just keep
Don't
finding
you
the gold.
cuck me. Don't you do it.
That's already happened once.
It
No,
will
it's
happen
implied
again.
to have happened multiple times since that big first part.
Did anyone else want the amazing model? Not person, but the model of the city when he goes down with the staff and he just goes in the cool room and like the light shines
hold
down.
on.
With the John
Yes,
Williams music just
Okay,
rising.
we got to talk about John Williams in that score for a second because my God, did that man pop off with the score. And what's the
Really
best
did.
thing about you guys know the story behind the theme, right?
Probably.
Go for it.
So John Williams came up with 2 Indiana Jones themes. And he showed them both to Spielberg, and he's like, which one do you like? And he's like, I love them both. Just put them together and just use that as one major theme, which is how we get da 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 da, and then da 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 da. Those are the 2 themes.
Not something you could usually tell a musical artist and be like, oh, I love both these songs. Just throw them together. Yeah, just do it. That won't make sense. None of the words or lyrics match, and it's 2 different. Nah, just throw it together. You're good. Just
I
do
think a
it.
composer, it makes sense. If it was like a lyricist, like if they had like Indiana Jones theme songs in the style of Bond theme songs, it wouldn't make any sense.
Mashups,
exactly.
DJ Earworm.
it would all be sang on Glee.
You know, that was a mistake that I think we made as a culture, was making that show as wildly popular as it was. Same with Secret Life of the American Teenager.
You know how they say that there was an ebb and flow of bullying in America?
We didn't bully enough, ever.
I'm glad Jake said it.
Yeah.
But as we
So you didn't have to.
careen further in, we now have Indy get the Covenant, then loses the Covenant,
Gets stuck in the pit.
gets stuck in the pit, recovers the Covenant again by eliminating 4
Every
Nazi
Nazi.
trucks. He
In one of the-
single-handedly took out a battalion, just so everyone
One of
is
the
aware.
greatest chase sequences ever put to film.
Yes.
We're going to talk about the fact that he fought Pat Roach, the Nazi mechanic, and gets his ass beat again in a situation where he's overwhelmed by somebody else and has to have good timing and moves out of the way as this man is slaughtered by a airplane
That
motor.
was the first time I saw blood in the movie.
Really?
I was young. Listen, I was very, very sheltered with what I could and could not watch growing up.
I tried
Was
to
this
think
between VeggieTales?
Of course. Talk about
I
those
could ask you all to
vegetables and
cast your
Jesus.
minds back to 2002. Is there blood in Attack of the Clones?
No, it's just cauterized.
Yeah, it was
Then-
instantly cauterized.
Then this was the first time I also saw blood in. No, I tell a lie. I also saw Die Another Day in 2002.
Yeah, but that was like
5
blood
years old
kind of
and
trickling
watched
down.
Die
This was
Another
like
Day in a theater.
this was blood like splurting upwards.
Splatters everywhere.
Probably Jaws. Jaws would have probably been my first because I Jaws or some scary movie that my parents were like, yeah, you're fine to watch this.
I saw Jaws after I first saw Indy, so
Yeah, Indy was first. Jaws I saw much later.
I definitely
I still saw Jaws young, like 6
Friday
probably.
the 13th at a very young age.
Same.
Dance influence?
Something equivalent.
I mean, listen, if you watch Teeth at a young age, I'm not surprised as to what you watched at a much younger age.
I'm desensitized.
He watched it on September 11th. That's the crazy thing.
Jesus.
God.
But
Anyway,
we
Yeah, let's move away from that, please.
can we talk about the ending in itself? Because the argument has been made, if Indiana Jones did nothing at all in the
everything
film,
would happen exactly as it happens.
everything would exactly happen.
Yeah, no, he didn't matter at all in the movie.
No.
And we
So-
don't care because he's so cool.
And
Exactly.
then where does it end up? Not a museum.
No, it's in a place guarded by top men, Jake.
Top men.
Top men.
Top men.
Do you think that's a rank? Like you're like the top man.
That's
Top man.
all that's in Area 51.
Yeah,
Just
in
a
Area
bunch of top
51,
men.
you're a bottom or a top.
And he's at the bottom in this case, I guess. Always getting fucked.
Oh, Indiana Jones is definitely a bottom.
He's a power bottom. He fucks back.
He tries.
Mary Ravenwood.
Oh my
Mary
god.
Ravenwood definitely tried pegging. Anyway.
So Temple of Doom or Last Crusade?
Let's just
let's
cover
go-
Temple of Doom now so we can get out of the way so we can
Yes.
go talk about...
Yeah, let's talk about.
Do you want to
real-
just talk
how-
about the problems of Temple of Doom, or do you want to go into Temple of Doom?
Hey, you guys like how often do non-white characters be played by white people before before that became like a problem that people actively
So
talk
I
about
am-
regularly?
I can't remember for definite, but I feel I'm right in saying that Pat Roach is in Temple of Doom and he does play one of the...
He does.
One
He's
of the
the
villains.
one that he's fighting when they're trying to escape.
he's one who's the child slaver.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who Pat Roach
Yeah.
is also white.
Yeah. No, in that film, he's not.
No, he is not. No, he's not. Not even a bit.
Temple of Doom. You are a film.
You are certainly a film. That also stars Dan
in-
Aykroyd.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I will say, everything up to that plane crash is pretty much perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the opening in Shanghai is...
Oh, it's so pulp. It's so.
Oh my god,
so
it's
love
great. It's a great opening, and it's definitely. I
great.
feel like it's Spielberg wanted to do something a lot more lavish now that he had a lot more tools under his belt.
And then,
and then the racism starts.
yeah, Ethan, what was the thing? Okay,
Okie dokie, Dr. Jones.
what was the thing I said to you? Yes, from that point all the way up to the ritual, it is a proto Marvel film.
Yeah.
Nothing funny about it. It's just what it is. It's trying.
It also
little
is
long.
concerning because at the one point you try and think that Indy is a superior human and that he is unable to be hypnotized by the power, but he is. So even Indiana Jones lets you down in the Temple of Doom.
Well, and then are we going to talk about Willie?
Great character.
No.
Sponsored by Steven Spielberg. This podcast is sponsored by Steven Spielberg. Kate Capshaw, hell of a film, hell of an actress.
Again,
she's having my kids.
Another character who makes a lot more sense once you've seen Fablemans. And his portrayal of his mother.
I think it was difficult because so you start Temple of Doom, and Temple of Doom, for those who are getting into this, was released after.
But is a prequel to
Raiders of the Last Ark, but is a prequel, correct? One of there have probably been prequels before.
This was one of the first in Hollywood cinema.
Defined prequels. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there is nothing in the film itself that would make you say, yes, this happens before Raiders of the Last Ark.
The only thing I can
other than the title,
is
the first scene where it shows you the date.
And just
but
in general,
if you're not familiar with time.
Yeah.
If you don't know how clocks or time or calendars work.
I need a subtext that says this is before the other one. Just in the title card.
I think from a actual character perspective of Indy, you can see it where in this he is very much the fortune and glory guy. He's in it for the money. By Raiders, he's still not that much better, but he's at least it belongs in the museum and not I'm just going to sell this to the highest bidder.
That being Dan Aykroyd.
Because it makes you wonder what happened to Short Round.
With a very strangely accurate English accent, Dan Aykroyd.
They just made 1941. You know what? Which is a really underrated movie, I think.
You might be the only person to ever say that.
That's the thing. You know what? I remember liking it when I first saw it. It's been a while.
Has disavowed that film.
Oh, has he?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to recharge my statement then.
Yes.
Okay, fuck me, I guess.
He very very big.
I remember John Wayne called him and said, "This is the most un-American movie. What the fuck are you doing?"
Just so everyone knows, John Wayne actively avoided the war, while masterful Jimmy Stewart not only signed up for the war, not only led a squadron, not only was shot down, not only got back in another plane and did 5 more missions afterwards. So God bless you, James Stewart. You masterful man.
Can you imagine James Stewart's getting like, "Come on, man, please, everyone, let's go.
We're going over there, and we're gonna take care of them." And everyone's like, "Fucking yeah, wonderful life."
Can we
let's
talk
go.
about how great Ke Huy Quan is in this movie for his debut?
He's very, very good in this.
Very fun.
He is, and I think
it's also maybe the most divorced film ever made. George Lucas had just gone through a divorce before he started writing it. Spielberg was about to have a divorce.
I will say though,
shows
that the ending of this movie, I'm talking after ritual minecart chase scene onwards, once it's again incredible. Cool. And it's that final line on the bridge where he's like, "Golly," something in hell, and then brings the sword down.
That's also one of the most iconic pictures too that they have. It's a studio still of
the ripped shirt.
Hold on. I have it.
Oh no! Oh dear! Here we go.
Is the cover stuck together?
Gee, that's why it's so sticky. Oh, I thought I put some Skittles in there. I guess that's why it's so sticky.
Yeah, Skittles, sure.
I don't know. You got it from his grandparents.
By the way, I gotta say, Drew Struzan, I miss that man's work so much as a poster artist. Anyway,
so shall we stop talking about the racist one and go on to the comedy one?
Yeah, it's insane in this trilogy that you go from Raiders, which is serious kind of action adventure with light comedy and heartfelt. Then Temple of Doom gets really dark, but he just threw in Ke Huy Quan and was like, make it funny. And now we're into Last Crusade that goes into full on mild action adventure, way more
I think Last Crusade, I feel takes the two tones and just somehow
it finds its
perfectly
balance.
meshes it together.
Perfectly.
I think.
Perfectly.
It's perfect.
I would argue that I think tied with Raiders, Last Crusade is my favorite film, and
Last Crusade is definitely one I will rewatch the most.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I agree.
It's the most cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Indiana
best
Jones is an
balance.
actual character who has character development in this film.
Like
Yeah.
the opening where he's a Boy Scout and he's,
River fucking Phoenix.
River fucking Phoenix. A step up from Sean Patrick Flannery. And no, I've not seen the show, but hey, Sean Patrick Flannery did the Boondock Saints, so it couldn't have gone that well.
I think one of the greatest like crossfade cut section is River Phoenix getting the whip cut, like, and it's bleeding, and he looks down, and then like,
oh no,
yeah.
it's
No, so
it's
he gets
when
the
he
hat
put
put
the
on his
hat,
head.
when he
It's
tips
the
the hat down, and then he
gets the
tips
hat
it up.
down, and then he puts up,
and it's
Yeah.
Harrison Ford, and it's
Oh,
and it's the same guy. He's getting it back all these years later.
so that's why even my favorite cut in that film, though. My favorite cut is the Marcus Brody cut.
He's got a
So
3-day
I
head start. He's got, he knows 16 different languages. He's
Brody's got friends in every town or village from here to Sudan. He speaks a dozen languages, knows
Someone
every
help
local
me.
custom. He'll blend in to Spear. You'll never see him again. With any luck, he's got for Grail already. Cut. Excuse me, does anyone here speak English?
I love we got Marcus involved on the action.
Marcus is great. I love Marcus.
this is the first film that I would argue has like all these like incredible components of like actual like archaeology, like
Oh, wait.
the rooms in
I'm so sorry.
the library and everything like that, and trying to figure things out.
We quickly need to go back to Temple of Doom for one moment before we continue with Last Crusade.
Is
We
it
need
the
to
love
talk
shaped
about
plane?
no. We need to talk about what Temple of Doom did to the rating system.
Oh, yeah.
So because Temple of Doom and
Was
Gremlins,
PG, right?
Yeah, both
Yeah.
came out the same year, and both were criticized for being widely too dark for their intended audience.
Of PG.
Spielberg himself came out and said, well, let's just make a new rating that's like right in the middle and call it PG-13.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, we have a PG-13, which is why this one's PG-13 for the first time in the series.
Because PG-13, that's when like you're smoking cigarettes, so you're good, right?
Yeah,
Exactly,
that's when
yeah.
you're
All right,
in a
yeah.
gang and everything,
Yeah.
Robin,
Like, you
Robin
gotta
Leggett.
remember, at gangs at this point in time, you were still doing the dancing in the the alleyways with the knives.
There was still an overture.
Spielberg's in a gang, and he's like, someday I'll make that a movie.
The Fablemans.
I was thinking about West Side Story, but
That was his gang.
there
That
you go.
was those. West Side Story is actually the story of Steven Spielberg. I don't know if you knew
But I
that.
do also, if seeing as we back on Temple of Doom quickly, I do also want to mention my favorite gag in the film, which is Indy gets on the plane, goes, "Nice try, Lauche," closes the door.
No, that's
Lauche.
incredible joke.
And I love how
Anyway.
Dan Aykroyd is like, yeah, everything's safe, everything's good. I double checked it, everything. Yeah, you're good to fly, like everything. Yeah, it's perfect. And he's like, yeah, Dan
Oh,
Aykroyd,
God.
you son of a bitch. But Last Crusade, fantastic,
Sonia.
fantastic.
The
We
fact-
have a 12 years, right? It's only 12 years.
Yeah,
older,
12
Sean
year
Connery.
difference between them.
12 year his senior Sean Connery. Because
Who,
that
I
makes
remember
sense.
in the beginning, he said he wanted to make a film akin to Bond. So who do we
And
get?
then Sean
Bond
Connery
himself.
comes in and plays the most unbond character he's ever played.
Are you sure about that? Because I don't know. He and his son are Eskimo buddies.
Bond in one aspect, not in
Yes.
the other. The bedroom Bond, they are akin. The action adventure
We
Bond,
do have a bond
not
in the
so much.
bedroom.
Yes, they're bonded.
She talks in her sleep.
I knew she was a naughty. I suddenly remembered
But
my
no,
Charlemagne.
the fact that Sean Connery and Harrison Ford have just fantastic chemistry together.
Isn't this so good?
I think too, because Connery had always been like we're not going to get into his womanizing and, all antics.
No,
in that
great
sense.
dude.
But he
No problem. Didn't want
was
to give him a good schmuck.
that old school actor who was comfortable with actually smacking Harrison Ford in the face because Harrison Ford said, yeah, go ahead, hit me. And then after Connery hit him, I think they did like 2 or 3 takes of smack and Ford's face was red. So they had to use the first take because his face was red in the other 2 because of how hard Sean Connery was hitting him, which is
Blasphemy.
great. Absolutely great. I will say it is still insane, the fact that you have Connery, you have Ford in this film, and there's no Karen Allen, there's no Kate Capshaw. We just have unnamed blonde German woman love interest.
Well, for anyone who watched
Elsa Schneider.
Well, for anyone who watched last year's RRR, she's the British woman in that movie. She's the like reigning queen of the land in that movie.
Jesus,
they brought her back
along with the late great Ray Winstone.
She crawled out of her cave.
Got out.
She got out. Oh my God,
Indiana, let it go.
Let it go, Indiana.
And this is too that so Raiders, we jump around a little bit geographically. This one also jumps around geographically. We end up back in the Middle East again, and then out of it, and then back to Germany. And I don't know, kids, read your history books. Indiana Jones met Hitler.
He did.
They met.
And not only that, he got his autograph.
I just want a cut scene of Henry Sr. opening his book and going, "What's this autograph?"
Don't worry about it, Dad.
Who the fuck is Hitler? Because my question is, Indiana Jones belongs in a museum. Did he donate the book with the signature of Hitler to a museum, or was that purchased from a private collector somewhere? Probably
memorabilia in a room, in a hidden room.
That's in one of the crates. No one can ever see this.
What do you mean you met him? Where were you that you met? How did you meet?
I was trying to get something.
At a book burning. You were where?
I'm concerned. So you know in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull where he's talking to Matt and he's like, "Oh yeah, I met Pancho Villa." I want that. I want it to be about him meeting Hitler.
Another also great scene. They are on the blimp about to take off. And the inspector is on, and he throws him through the window, and just
ticket.
It's such a beautiful line in the way he does it, and everyone raising their tickets in the air again. And I think
it's a perfectly timed gag.
It really is. And like you said, the film is such a great melding of everything. The first two films kind of like it picks up where the other two films kind of like missed in certain places with either comedy or act, and it's just like it's a perfect meld. It really is.
So yeah. I just looked. Do you know who was considered for Henry Jones Sr.? Gregory Peck.
Yeah. That would have been good.
I could see it. Yeah,
I could see it too, but I don't think it would have been as good as Connery the way he made it in this movie.
I think Peck actually, for look-alike, probably looked a little more like Harrison Ford if he was older, because he also has that stature and that kind of like stoic look to him.
Yeah.
But wild card Sean Connery will always take that place in my heart.
Who improvised She Talks in Her Sleep?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or did he?
Knowing Sean. Oh, that's Sean.
I didn't even know the cameras were rolling.
I guess I made a tape of sex.
Oh God. It's also got, I think, the coolest temple thing.
Mm-hmm. I like the test. I think it's got the coolest challenges and tests, especially at the end.
Yeah,
it's got one of those sidewalk chalk.
But in Hebrew, Jehovah starts with an I.
I mean, and from beginning to start, even when they're in Venice and they're trying to figure out, and they're going and they have to go through the catacombs and
it's another great gag when he's breaking the floor
and she's
a librarian.
The book. Yeah,
my favorite thing is when they're having the chase and he's enjoying the chase. He looks over at Sean and Sean Connery is just giving him the most disapproving look, and he's just like, fine.
There's another great one where they're on the plane and Henry Sr.'s shooting and he shoots his own plane up and Sean, we got us.
This is definitely the staple. Like, and I know, I'm trying to think. I know one of the channels. This was the movie they played every year on Father's Day. This was the Father's Day movie.
This was like,
yeah.
This was the one they played the most. I remember this. I think this might be the one I saw clips of the first, maybe like in passing, whatever, like in fall.
I want to say, I thought at the beginning of this, I think I said I saw Raiders first. I actually might have saw this first. I'm trying to remember what.
I feel like this is like, that's why I said, if you want to start somewhere, start with Raiders or Last Crusade. You won't go wrong either way.
Yeah. Just fast forward through a lot of Temple of Doom.
Also, that entire chase with the tank and the horses and
tank.
Incredibly shot. So well done.
And I love how they stop them all and it gets blown up and everything like that. And then they know exactly what temple to go to. They're there and they're only there for like 10, 15 minutes. And then the Nazis show up again. And you're like, didn't they get led the wrong way and did not? And you're like, well, whatever. It's okay.
I like when Sean Connery thinks he's dead and then Indiana Jones comes up behind him. He's just like, the hell are y'all looking at? I thought I lost you, boy. Oh, Laurence Olivier was going to be the knight.
I
Really?
see that.
He was considered, but he was too ill and he died the same year when the film came out.
Well, he didn't drink from the grill.
He chose clearly.
You have
not qualified
chosen
for the role.
Wisely.
God, again, I love how simple spoiler. I love how simple the Grail is in this.
Still gold on the inside.
Oh, and India, who picks it up? The guy who used to be a carpenter before he was an actor.
Well, don't
wait, hold on.
Gotta be specific what his role is.
Are we saying Harrison Ford second coming of Jesus Christ?
I think he might be. You ask a few people, he might be.
But he's the second coming of Jesus Christ who would red building people's hot tubs would put special holes in the hot tubs where people could access their weed.
I mean, he ain't stupid.
No, he's not. He's smart. He works in Hollywood as a carpenter. Of course, everyone wanted weed.
Now, in that scene,
I got the rolls.
They're picking the different chalices and the cup, and if I remember, the Nazi
American guy, American sympathizer.
Yeah. Well, he dies obviously, and then the Nazi woman is actually talking to him, and Ford is like talking about, it's going to look like a plain cup. It's going to be a normal one. Doesn't she pick up the cup? Isn't she the one who picks up the corrupt cup?
Or does he grab it? That's the cup of a carpenter. That's the cup of a carpenter.
Because I couldn't remember if she pointed out which cup it was, and then he said, yes, that's the cup of the carpenter, or if she picked it up.
No, it's him who goes, look, if I'm remembering right.
I have to say, the way that Walter Donovan dies is the second most brutal death in the entire series.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is the most brutal?
I was going to say there was the plain one, and then there's, getting your face melted off by opening the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah. There's a dude who got
and set on fire.
His heart ripped out.
Mm-hmm.
I got put back in.
Oh yeah, no, he's good. And then I'd say rapid old age is pretty bad. I'd put that up there. Well, then the woman Nazi did fall into the abyss.
Yeah.
Some say she's still falling. That's how she ended up in RRR.
Well, she's they brought her back. They knew.
I've had. Can we talk about the ending?
Go for it.
We named the dog Indiana.
Incredible.
Such a throwaway too. If you like it.
I've had it right off into the sunset.
I love that dog.
I love that.
Why? Oh yeah, Salah's back in this movie. Why do they call you Indiana? Or it's like, where does his junior come from? That's his name. Henry Jones Jr.
Richard Jones Jr.
I like Indiana. Indiana was the name of our dog. I liked that dog.
You were named after the dog.
That means his father was just not around if his favorite person in the house, where there was two of them, was the dog.
Well, apparently the mother was in the opening scene, but then, time traveling.
No.
Time traveling Apollo Creed.
For those who haven't listened to a
Reference
Rocky
back
episode,
to the Creed episode of GateCrashers for that.
Well,
that
I mean,
little.
so he's
tidbit.
not. Indiana Jones isn't the only character who's named after a dog. Willie was also named after a dog, and Half Moon was character Half Moon was named after a dog.
I'm sorry. There's a character named Half Moon.
Apparently.
In
Half Moon.
what the
Okay,
fuck?
hold on.
I feel like this is
Why?
gonna lead to something really stupid, and I'm not
I'm
exactly.
waiting for this on bated breath.
Yeah, wait. What is Half Moon? What's the character from where?
I think it's talking about Short Round, but I don't know why it's saying Half Moon.
Talking about what?
Short
Are you-
Round.
Gee,
Are you saying that IMDb is making it worse?
Yep.
Thanks, IMDb.
My God.
So anyway, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I was just gonna say,
I
I
was
do
gonna say,
think we need
no,
to
I
talk
was
about
gonna say,
Kingdom
I
of
was had a
Crystal
really
Skull.
good segue. Then Jake had to come
But-
in with my segue was Indiana Jones rides off into the sunset for almost 19 years.
Can we now refer to Short Moon as Half
Yeah.
Moon?
Yeah.
Whenever
If
we're
you look-
talking about
If
it.
you look up Indiana Jones Half Moon, Short Round pops up. That was the character's name at some point.
That's
And they settled on Short Round.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
definitely better than Half Moon.
Yeah.
Did they go to the J.K. Rowling school of naming culturally insensitive
no.
characters?
Jesus.
shit.
God, that movie corrupts everything.
So everyone
you can't-
saw.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone saw Kingdom of Crystal Skull opening night, right?
I
Everyone was
saw
there in
that
the
opening
theaters.
weekend with my dad. Yes, I
Opening
did.
weekend, yeah.
Yep, everyone
so.
was drugged there with their fathers, and
No,
Sit
I
down.
took my dad. I wanted to go with
oh,
him.
you took your father? Yeah, no, I went and saw with my dad, and he was disappointed, to say the very least.
My dad's very just like whatever on the movie thing. He's like, that was okay.
Mm-hmm. That was a film.
Yeah.
I think I liked it. I think I liked it too, but I didn't realize at the time. Like, I think I was trying to just be like, make up excuses. It's like, no, it's good. It's good. And it's like inside of.
I was 10 years old. I loved it.
I was 15.
enjoy it.
Yeah,
I
it's a
enjoy
good
it
film.
now. Now I enjoy it. Back then I didn't.
It's way more palatable than fucking
Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom.
Doom.
Yeah.
I agree.
Oh, I agree with you.
Granted, it also has its racist bit of just, of the alien aspect of, the ancient alien kind of stuff.
I'm not
Like-
saying it's aliens.
No,
It's
the
aliens.
interdimensional beings. Come on.
Exactly. And listen,
Right.
we discussed this unfortunately a little before the podcast, that you got to remember, folks who have an issue with Kingdom of Crystal Skull and saying, "Oh, the aliens." That all right. The first movie is about the Ark of the Covenant. The second one, we're not going to get into. The third one is about the actual Grail. Is
Yeah.
aliens really that far?
Oh,
The
no.
line
I
drawing,
don't-
that's where you
I
draw the
don't-
line?
I don't give a shit that it's aliens. I thought it was pretty fucking cool, but it's just the idea of, the whole thing about like people thinking about the pyramids being built by aliens because white people weren't making those things. So how could these, I'm doing air quotes, other primitive cultures do this as well? Like these elaborate things. And it's, just blatant racism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Racism.
But hey,
It
he gets
finds
shot.
a way.
Hey,
It finds a way to survive every year.
He gets shot and have a nuclear explosion in a fridge.
Rules. It's so
Nuked-
fun.
Nuke
Fucking
the
awesome.
fridge.
So good.
Fucking
Nuke the
awesome.
fridge.
It is fucking cool. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I think this film.
Let's start with that. The opening of this film is fantastic.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Yes.
It's
Great
so
opening.
good.
Like I love the whole
the
like
first-
50s culture with like the race between,
Mhm.
and then you just see the drivers go off into another way, and then they open the trunk, and all
that
the guns,
first reveal of Indy is just perfect.
All the guns are drawn.
Shadow.
and you just see the silhouette, and you hear the music, and motherfuckers, he's back, and he's a little older.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. He's fine though.
No.
He's good.
Not as old as in Dial of Destiny, but he's still pretty old.
Yeah. I think this is the film, and again, also talked about prior, that on rewatch done much better. Ethan,
I think because the expectation is gone now of the
yeah, 100%. Someone does have a version of it where they digitally remove Shia LaBeouf and put a golden retriever instead, and it is fantastic.
Wait, so the golden retriever is doing a Tarzan audition?
Kind of. The golden retriever knocks over all the greasers. The golden retriever is running it's hysterical.
So when Shia LaBeouf's swinging through the trees, is it just the golden retriever just going like woof woof? That's the one part of the movie I still don't like, but we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, monkey. So we have left the realm of Nazis, and we are now into
the
comic.
Yeah, what is it? Late 50s or early 60s?
Mid 50s.
Okay,
57, I think.
Okay, 1957.
I can tell you right now. Yeah, I believe he's right, but I'll check anyway.
Yeah,
the new one is mid 60s.
It's 69 actually.
Oh, there we go.
Nice.
Nice.
You said
it's
69
right? Because it's 69 because there's specifically a scene set at the Apollo 11 victory parade in New York.
All right, so 57. And so Indiana Jones kidnapped, and he's joined by his buddy we've never met until right now, Ray Winstone.
Mac.
Fucking Mac.
Who, it's weird because in films, you know how every year there's like that one actor who just seems to be in everything?
Mm-hmm.
That's Ray Winstone.
Ray Winstone's year. That was his year. Yeah.
From like November 2007 to like up until that point, he was just in everything under the sun.
Yes. Because it was the Departed had come out with he was Jack Nicholson's right-hand man in that, and then this came out. Like do you know who he was before that? He was Beowulf. He was and that came out the year prior to that. So I mean, he was on a roll here. He was on a tear, and now he shows up in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Mm-hmm. And then we get introduced to our villain pretty early on in this movie. Dr. Irina Spalko, played in a bob cut wig by Cate Blanchett.
Still hot.
Yeah.
She's so good in this movie. And the sword, the saber, just incredible. But yeah, we're led into a warehouse. Gee, I wonder where we've seen this warehouse before.
Will we see what was put in this warehouse in 1980?
Well, top men work there.
Top men.
I mean, you can only deal with the top men when you bring in the bottom.
Our favorite bottom boy is back, Indiana Jones.
He got shoved in the trunk.
He certainly nuked his fridge.
I mean, what do you think he and Ray Winstone were doing in the back of the trunk there?
Yeah, and he switched sides all the time, apparently, if I remember correctly. He was going back and forth. He was a counter operative and then an operative.
Oh, God.
Playing both sides.
It's a shame because Cate Blanchett needs to be a villain in more films. This and then Thor Ragnarok, which her with black hair, I won't even get into it because I don't have enough time.
So the Bobcat did it for you?
Just Blanchett herself did it for me. But
that's fair.
phenomenal villain, and like a big name to come in as in a villain role, especially for the series.
Has she already won an Oscar by that point? I'll look it up now.
Has she only won what?
Has she already won an Oscar at that point? I can't remember.
Wait, did she win for Notes on a Scandal?
I'm looking it up now.
Or was that Kate Winslet?
Yeah, she'd won the Oscar in 2004 for The Aviator.
The Aviator, right. As she was Hepburn, wasn't she?
Yeah, low key, maybe in my top 3 Scorsese's.
It's such a good film. Long film, but it's such a good film.
Yes. But anyway, this whole chase in the warehouse and then leading onto the giant rocket car thing. Awesome. And then the nuke scene. And then we get the janitor from Scrubs.
Yeah, there's the shot after the nuke goes off where he gets out of the fridge and it's just the mushroom cloud and it's him looking at it.
Great cinematography. Janusz.
If I remember,
Janusz Kaminski.
the fridge literally has written on it lead lined.
I think so. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
In the most heavy-handed thing to tell the audience, Indy's going to be fine. There's no such thing as radiation poisoning. It's lead line. You're good.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing Superman rules here.
But then the janitor from Scrub shows up to debrief him and
accuse him of being a commie.
A commie bastard.
Because McCarthyism was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
fuck McCarthy.
Everyone who was an intellectual was a communist.
But yeah.
Then Jim Broadbent shows up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, R.I.P. Marcus.
Because Denholm Elliott sadly died by then.
And Sean Connery was retired.
Yes. Thank you, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
He done League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Like, I'm out.
I'm not doing this anymore. The plot itself, they're searching for
a bit wonky at times.
Crystal skulls. Skulls.
Skull. No, they found a crystal skull. They're trying to figure out where it came from.
Correct. Yes. Which takes them in a crossroads with Indiana Jones' mentor. First off,
Oxley.
and then a surprising face shows up in
Marion fucking Ravenwood, played once again to perfection by Miss Karen Allen. Fun fact: so my dad was an extra in a movie with Karen Allen in it.
She's lovely, isn't she?
He was in The Wanderers. He's an extra in that movie.
Did he wander over to her?
No, he was with the Ducky Boys, so we stayed over with his group of people that were extras.
So he was not a wanderer.
No.
Stationary guy.
But anyway, and then he's also joined by Mutt Williams, a
character we don't need to discuss anymore than mention his name.
What are you talking about? Great character. George Lucas. Come on, you want to make that film.
We're talking now about Shia.
Looking like Marlon Brando in the Wild Bunch.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. Share the beef. We're talking about Share the Beef.
Share the Beef.
Who at that time, similar to Ray Winstone, was on a tear.
In everything.
Transformers.
Disturbia, Transformers, Eagle Eye then was after.
Yep. Running on a tear, and everyone, and I think this is the biggest problem that I had with this film. As soon as you see a younger person that could have a connection to Indiana Jones, you start thinking about how old Indiana Jones is. And you're like, wait, they're trying to pass the mantle. Wait, they're trying to change this. Wait, they're doing something different to my beloved hero. And immediately you're like, no, I hope this kid dies by the end of the film. Like, I want him to get I don't know, a boulder to just off screen.
RJ, we're setting that up again.
What if that's how they explain it in Dial of Destiny? Because I know they've said they're going to bring up why he's not in it.
Yeah.
Rogue I think boulder. He's dead. I think he
went to go serve in Vietnam.
I mean, RJ, we'll find out first.
Indiana Jones.
No, you're seeing it on Wednesday,
changed his birth date to make sure he got drafted.
So just to check, you two see with Dial of Destiny on Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
I also see it on Wednesday.
So I am going Friday because I don't.
Sorry, John. We'll tell you exactly how it ends.
You son of a no.
We're all going to text you.
With the time difference, I technically see it before you two.
No, let's make an agreement. Hold on. Jake, Ethan, and I are going to send you 3 possible endings to the film.
I hate you guys.
Wait,
I'm not agreeing to this. I never agreed to this.
And here's the thing. You're going to read them all and be like, fuck, this was really outlandish, but this could be it. I don't know. I just don't see Shia LaBeouf get hit by a train in the fucking middle of the film.
Williams becomes a hippie and does weird art projects.
Indiana Jones decides to open a restaurant in Burbank, California, and retire.
No,
and you're like, oh, damn it.
Indiana Jones opens a restaurant in Philadelphia, meets a boxer named Rocky Balboa, and sees that his mom was murdered. And it's like, hey, my mom was murdered too by the same guy. We got to go after him.
Jesus Christ.
It's important to remember. Indiana Jones, New Jersey guy.
Yeah. Confirmed.
Just like Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spielberg was a Boy Scout too. Or not an Eagle
Like
Scout,
three
but-
of us.
Wait, it's confirmed he is residing currently, or he was
He's born there. I know that much. I don't know if he lives there.
No, he does
Yeah.
not live in Jersey.
He lives in New York by the time of at least Dial of Destiny.
So in Last Crusade, he was in the Midwest in Montana, I want to say.
Yeah, I think they moved there after his
All
mother
right.
died, if I'm remembering young Indiana Jones correctly.
So does that mean if we now just got a Bruce Springsteen rest stop on the Parkway, we could technically get an Indiana Jones rest stop on the New
Yes.
Jersey Turnpike?
Well, what is it? I just saw it. The one right by on the Parkway. The one
Oh, he
right.
teaches in West
They're
Virginia.
making a Whitney Houston one that's
No,
not
hold
open
on.
yet.
Wait, he teaches in Westfield, New Jersey? Is that what you said?
No. So when I first typed it in, it said West Virginia, but now it says Connecticut.
Where was Indiana Jones?
By 69, he had taken a position at Hunter College in the lead up to his retirement. Where is that?
Oh, a native of Princeton, New Jersey, it
Okay.
says.
Yeah. So in 69, he moves to Manhattan.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Is a film.
Well,
That-
here's the thing. I do think there are moments of the film that shine.
Mm-hmm.
The opening-
everything up until and just after the nuke. Perfect.
Everything up to the nuke, perfect. The middle is a little.
Ants.
I did like the part. I did like the part where he's in the library, he's on the bike, and then the student asks him a question,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Get out of the library!"
Gotta get out of the life.
Again, not scripted. He just was shouting at people in the fucking library. Just
He's just like,
walking
"I
around.
can't read anymore."
I do really like the ant scene. It's just the
Ants.
right kind of.
Well, I was gonna
Gnarly.
say I did like the Marion reveal with
Mhm.
a very crazy John Hurt 5 years
dancing
before the
in
War Doctor.
background. He's just dancing in the background in most of the scenes.
So I did like that reveal. I did like the whole okay, the reveal of his son wasn't the reveal of his son, it's a dumb thing, like, it's his son, okay. But I like the whole, like, they're in the quicksand, he's like, he's a good kid, get off about school, he's your kid.
Why didn't you
Why did
send
you-
him to school?
Like, again, Karen Allen and Harrison Ford have not lost a beat.
No.
Are they perfect together?
And the timeline, so they're saying that basically after they consummated on Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones,
He chickened out like a week
not
before the
only
wedding or
did
something.
he,
Indiana Jones performed in Evan Hansen's dad and left.
so the only thing he pulled out of was the relationship.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, he got bad vibes like Evan Hansen's dad and left.
That tracks. I get that.
Ethan knows what I'm referring to.
What a terrible film that was.
What a great Letterboxd review, though.
That Dear Evan Hansen,
Yeah, my letterbox
John's
review is
favorite
great.
Broadway show.
Just like Space Jam: The New Legacy, or whatever it's called, is his favorite film of all time.
Wait, are we saying? Wait, hang on. Are we saying Evan Hansen? No, fuck you. Evan Hansen's a terrible movie and a terrible
That's
Broadway
your
show.
favorite-
It is
your
a
favorite musical
problematic show. Problematic.
Well, I thought you really, really loved that they brought
Jake,
back
I'm
the
going
main-
to
the
come
main-
down there. Gonna perform a Godfather. Leave a horse's head on your bed.
Jesus.
Hey man, I live close to some farms. Definitely could find a horse head.
Live close to a tall bridge as well, right, Jake?
Yes, I think
Yeah,
there was a
I'll
jumper
just-
on it today.
Oh, Jesus.
I'll just take the
There
bed
was
and
like
be
3
like,
hours
oops, here
worth
we
of
go.
traffic. I couldn't leave my house.
Just take you off and be like, oops, there we go. Bye, Jake.
Jesus Christ.
Well, keep it up.
Well, John,
Um,
hold on. Just aim back at Ethan and say something. Blah 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 blah. Hey, Ethan, aren't you excited for the next Joker film?
Inspired by Francis Ford Coppola.
I I just have one thing to add about Mutt Williams because I wanted
God.
to make sure I had read it correctly. He is often considered to be the Jar Jar Binks of the Indiana Jones franchise. Whoever wrote that article, bravo.
Yeah, except Shaver Beef doesn't deserve any respect, while Ahmed Best does.
No, I agree with that.
Well, here's the other thing. Mutt Williams isn't responsible for the Republic becoming an empire. Jar Jar is.
Now, do we think that Mutt Williams was a secret Sith? That's canon, right?
No.
With.
Guys, I'm George Lucas. Hi, George Lucas crashing the gate here. He was a secret Sith the whole time. That was the plan. We had a plan originally, and then you just got to move things around. When your wife divorces you and she's your screenwriter, and you just got to change things.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Everything's so dense. It's there's so much going on.
New Balances.
I would go to a food court with George Lucas.
Do you remember the South Park? Do you remember the South Park episode that was like making fun of the reception to this movie?
No.
Steven Spielberg and George Lucas
raping Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, yes,
Jesus.
vividly. I do.
And then they molested.
They do about this kind of thing.
And who else did they molest? Didn't they molest like Stan or Kyle or something?
No. It was another, because they were talking about bringing back another franchise, and I'm trying to think who else.
Okay, because I remember. Wait, Ethan, have you never seen this episode?
No.
It's an episode because they see it and they just are so upset with what he has done to the franchise. Because again, when I saw it, I would have been a freshman in college. It was not received well at all.
No, it wasn't.
The episode is called "The China Problem."
Well,
because it was about the Beijing Olympics. Okay. Clyde and Jimmy.
I'll have to wait until that all comes back on TikTok.
It's cyclical. It'll come back.
Yeah, it'll come back.
It'll come back.
It'll take a few months, but it'll be back on.
Yeah, it's season 12, episode 8. This aired in October of 2008. This made fun of the fact that everyone and their mother was upset at Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Unfairly so. I think fair in some parts, but mostly unfair.
I think it doesn't help either that both Trey Parker and Matt Stone are pretty private guys about a lot of stuff. But if I remember correctly, they had recently mentioned in an article interview prior to the film coming out, saying that they actually were excited for the film to see it. So of all the people to be excited about something and then for it not to be perfect, you knew they were going to take that sort of avenue.
not to that extent. Because I remember being 15 and seeing that episode, I'm like, Jesus.
Just you got to watch it, Ethan.
Ethan, if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It is
terrible.
Okay. It is something.
It's an episode. It's a real episode.
But now we've wrapped up. Oh, I guess we should talk about the ending of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Where
you ever see a bunch of crystal skeletons all
merge into one being?
Yeah.
Well, then Scrooge comes back and he beats them and he drinks their bone juice for the, Now I'm just thinking of Hot Rod. It's a Christmas goose.
And it's wild that they carved a skull into that mountain.
Yeah, and it's I did like the scene where they after the ship flies off and they're all just kind of wrestling like, hey, the event is over. Indiana goes like, so Junior, think you're gonna stick around a while? I don't know, Gramps. Why didn't you? Somewhere up there, your grandfather's laughing. I like that.
And then the hat flies off.
The wedding, and then the magic wind flies the hat off, and Mutt Williams picks it up. Mutt Williams picks it up, and the music starts going, and you see him just get ready to put it on his head, and right before it touches his head, Harrison Ford says, "Nope, I'm not done yet. I got one more left in me."
And then he punches him in the face.
Yeah, because there's a very specific thing that George Lucas says about that subject. Because it was kind of going to be a trade-off if this goddamn wiki page would stop jumping back up to the top of the fucking thing. Yeah, so this is where I got that information about the dogs. And this one does specifically say short round, not half moon. But why the fuck did it say half moon? Blah, 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 blah. Yes. George Lucas had considered the possibility of producing a fifth Indiana Jones film starring Mutt on his own adventures with the titular character in a supporting role similar to the one Sean Connery had played as Henry Jones Sr. Blah, blah, blah. However, Lucas later changed his mind, stating that only Indiana Jones would be the center of an indie film and jokingly dismissed Mutt in a Mutt feature as a spin-off entitled Mutt Williams in the Search for Elvis. And then blah, blah, blah. It's not going to be the next movie, but they're going to be talking about it.
Oh, damn. Is Austin Butler going to be in it?
I think sometimes George Lucas just needs to step away.
He needed Steven Spielberg.
Are you telling me George Lucas,
Yes.
the brain behind bringing Marvel characters to the big screen, needs to take a step back and think about his actions before he does them?
I'm telling you that George Lucas, who wasn't even the best script writer in his own house, I'm talking about
It's fucking brutal, but true.
George Lucas, who did not even have the faith in his own film to then talk his friend Steven Spielberg and be like, hey, if you can get, some of the gross profits off of Star Wars, if I can get some off of ET, and we'll share them. So Steven Spielberg can sit back now, and he still gets profits off of Star Wars because of a deal they made, because of how little faith George Lucas had in the film. That George Lucas, I will say, he built a great childhood for me, but goddamn, he should have just been like, I did pretty good. I can just rest now. I can.
Well, that's what he's doing now. He's making, and I quote, "I'm making films for only my friends to see. That no one else."
He's also making a museum.
Well, don't forget that
it belongs to a museum.
Don't forget that Frank Marshall came out and said Jurassic World's going to be the #1 movie of the year, and he goes to George Marshall, "I'll crush you like a bug."
To be fair, Jurassic World was the biggest film that year for 6 months.
Now, to get off on Indy,
we're all getting off on Indy. We're all getting off on Indy.
We're all getting off on to get back onto the topic.
Nice.
Now we have Dial of Destiny, new director. We get the great James Mangold, director of the upcoming Star Wars Jesus Jedi movie, I guess.
Dawn of a Jedi.
Yeah, that's it. But he did 3:10 to Yuma. He did Logan. He did do Logan, so he knows something about sending a character off.
He did. Yes. He did Ford vs Ferrari, the most recent in the Dad's Rock.
I have not seen it yet.
Film. It's so good. It's so good. So good.
But I am excited. I think he's a great choice.
Okay.
Do we think Indy? Go ahead.
No, it's flat out. Does everyone have low, middle, or high expectations?
So I am at the middle just because Disney was stupid to premiere that film at Cannes.
And then have it get annihilated at Cannes.
Yeah, because of course a film like Indiana Jones is going to get annihilated at Cannes.
But I have middle expectations as well. I've heard the critical reception kind of turned the tide a little bit.
Yeah, when people who actually like Indiana Jones started to see it. Yeah.
Yes.
I think I will like it. I am hopeful, but not putting all my hopes on loving it. But I do think I will come away with being like, yeah, that was a good Indiana Jones film.
I assume it's going to be better than in Temple of Doom.
I think it will.
I love that.
It needs to be.
I love that the whole thing is Jake is just like, Temple of Doom hurt my family.
It's racist.
It is racist.
It is racist. Now, okay, here's the other thing. Do you think Indiana Jones is going to die?
Potentially.
I think he is.
I'm mid expectations like Ethan. I think it was a bad choice where it got debuted. The two reviews
it happened last time too, and happened with Kingdom of the Crystal Soul went to con and it got premiered and it got trashed.
The two reviews that I read that were both like people who enjoyed Indiana Jones were like, this was a film made for people who enjoy this series.
Yeah.
And that is, and we've seen that especially with later films in series like this. Like, they're not made for everybody, unfortunately. They're made for people who have been following along the series.
If this is the last Indiana Jones film, as they are saying, I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think if he does die, it happens. I don't know if they would kill him on screen just to make a point. If anything, I would love to see him going back to teaching and like hanging up his hat literally on like a, like little hat perch or something like that. And then that's the film. And like, you're like, all right, India, he lived his life. Yay. I don't want to see him like just get murdered. That'd be awful.
You don't want to see him get Logan where he's just, you don't want to see him get pulled to Logan where he just gets thrown onto a tree stump and just.
Yes.
That's so exactly there's one thing I know about the film, but is it like in an official cast list and everything? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you all know it.
I know which one it is. And I'm a little mad that I do know about it because I would have liked that little pop off in the theater.
Yeah, I'd have liked to have been surprised by it, but I do know it, so I won't say it.
No, I won't either. I know exactly who you're talking about, and I'm a little mad I know because, again, it was not in the cast list, but it was in the, I guess, photos.
Yeah.
Oh, so there is a surprise.
Yes. Because obviously everyone knows
I'm
that.
Glad I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about.
Because obviously everyone knows from the trailers that Salah's back.
Yes.
There's someone else that hasn't been spoiled by any trailers right now, and said surprise was kind of spoiled by the red carpet premiere photos, so in the US
if you can.
Yeah, and I was annoyed because I was like, oh. Would have been something I would have liked to pop off. Go ahead. You're about to say something.
I want it to be good. I think that's the hardest thing I'm having.
I think I will enjoy it, and I'm
RJ. We'll get through that. We'll get through it. We'll have a big old thing of popcorn. We'll all sharing it. We'll all hold hands inside the popcorn. Ethan, I'm going off for a second here. RJ, our hands will be covered in butter. It's gonna be great.
I think the worst thing about this is I'm seeing it with Jake and Dan. Yeah, and I know regardless what's going to happen, it's going to be terrible afterwards.
Oh,
it's going to be like a pre-watched experience.
Yeah.
You guys are going to be sticky by the time you walk in.
I don't think we're going to. I don't think anyone's ever booed at an advanced screening, sir. I think can you keep it down over there?
Jake, you going to put a hole in your popcorn?
Yeah, just for RJ.
I just want you to be like, you want some popcorn? You want Jake? No, I'm not having any of that popcorn. No, come on, bud. Just reach in.
Okay, RJ, Jake, that's why you buy your own popcorn.
Jake, the popcorn bag trick works when there's popcorn in it. Your dick's just in there. You're supposed to fill it with popcorn.
No, guys, I swear it's like that dick in a box skit. It'll work.
Why is this butter white?
What is this white covering? Is this white frosting? Why'd you put frosting on popcorn? Also, is this confirmed to be John Williams' final score? Because I know he's nearing retirement.
So he had said it, but I think he read like around when Fableman's is coming out, he's like, I'm not retiring.
Okay.
So we don't know for definite.
The crazy thing is, and I know which one you're talking about, Ethan. He said that he has like 15 or 20 not like finished quote unquote scores for films that he has not even seen yet. Yeah. Like he just has ideas in his head. If something comes up, he's like, oh yeah, I've got something about that. Is insane that you have back burner scores for like when someone's like, oh, what do you think about this? And he's just like, yeah, try this out. Like
that. Also from what I do know, he had actually finished composing Dial of Destiny before we started on Fableman's. So Fableman's is would technically be seen as his last score, even though it came out first.
That man doesn't stop. He really doesn't.
The most nominated person in Academy Awards history.
Yeah,
Really?
he hasn't won yet, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, he's won a couple of times. He's got like 48 nominations or something.
Jesus.
A lot.
I would love to see him on tour, which I know will never happen because he is...
I've seen him play live. I've seen him play live once.
All right, fuck you, Ethan.
Star Wars Celebration last year, he came out and played the Indy theme live on stage. I also saw Harrison Ford cry that day.
What'd you
Aw.
do?
Why'd you make him cry?
Yeah, what did you
Yeah,
do?
wow.
Fuck you,
What the hell
Ethan.
did you
You
do?
dick.
Jesus Christ,
Ethan, you dick.
asshole.
Harrison
You just
Ford just
got-
trying to enjoy an ice cream cone. Ethan comes over, smacks it out of his hand.
Hey there,
You,
bro.
Indiana
You enjoying
Jones.
that cone there? Not in my country.
Oh, he just got like really emotional of like the response he was getting on stage, and it was just really nice.
He also has gotten to that point where he knows he has
Yeah.
always been Harrison Ford.
And
There's nothing
and
to him. He's just
But he also
he's-
he loves Indiana Jones.
He does.
Yeah, no, he has a genuine love. Like, I remember there was Ali Plum he had an interview with. I don't know
Yeah,
if
that
Ethan
interview
knows.
Oh, it's
So he had an
it's
interview and
so
Ali
good.
Plum just thanked you and he started tearing up and Harrison started tearing up. And it was just one of the most beautiful things, the way that Harrison talks about this film and how much he loves this film specifically.
When everything else is just a paycheck.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as it pretty much is. It's the scale. Remember, the hate for Han Solo, the love for Indiana Jones. It always balances out. With that, as we finally get to the fucking end of Indiana Jones.
We were at about an hour 45.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I will say, hey, Xbox, where the fuck is that video game you promised me 2 years ago?
I need that game.
I need it. Like, it's been 2 years, and the only thing I've heard is that, oh, Phil Spencer said we only got it for exclusively to Xbox because Sony has Spider-Man exclusively. Okay,
What's
but what's the
crazy-
status?
Because in that game, he actually puts the artifacts back. He
Yeah.
goes back to the countries, and you have to like put them back where they were.
There's no Legos Indiana Jones, though, I'll tell you that.
Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the British Museum.
Yes, exactly.
So,
Indiana Jones
Ethan,
and the
Ethan.
adventure of putting it where it belongs.
Yes, John.
That RJ, that could be taken in a variety of different ways.
You can take it any way you want, John.
He'll give it any way you want.
Okay,
John.
okay. You want to share some popcorn with me and Jake, buddy?
Sticky popcorn.
You ever gone skiing, buddy? When you got two poles and you're just
ever,
sliding down that slope?
That's in between us.
You ever been in a cockpit before, son? No, sir. I've never been on a plane before. You ever seen a grown man naked?
I feel sorry for Dan as he has to edit this podcast.
I don't know. I kind of want him to ask Jake if that half moon thing was a real thing or he just made it up on the spot. And now he has to research about whether or not Jake's made some slighted, overtly racist comment. And
I don't know
this
what.
unusable.
So I read that from a fucking article. And it was like, wait, hold on. Why does it say half moon? I thought it was supposed to be short round.
Jake's closing his tabs and it gets to the alt-right information center. He's like,
Jesus.
Temple of Doom sent me down the alt-right pipeline.
All right, on that note, you can find us on our GateCrashers socials, like GateCrashers Pod.
And I just want to shout out one of our writers, Jordan, has been doing a retrospect season Indiana Jones in the lead up to Shadow
it's
Destiny.
fantastic. They're doing a wonderful job.
They're doing a wonderful
Very
job,
good.
a lot more concise than this.
If you want this, but better, go
Go
read Jordan's
those
stuff.
articles.
Also, go see Dial of Destiny this Friday.
in theaters, in theaters this Friday, June 30th, rated PG-13.
Because we get it on Wednesday.
Or
bitches.
Wednesday, if you share popcorn with Dan. So
And Jake.
and Jake.
And guess what? They're sitting on each side of you, and they got 2 buckets.
2 buckets. Dan's a tub guy. Okay.
He's a tub guy.
Jesus.
For GateCrashers, this has been all of us.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
GateCrashers.